tip.
Good afternoon. It is September 9th, 2024. You're listening to a little column A, little column B, hosted by Will Levinos and co-hosted by Zach Bishop. How are you doing today, buddy?
What is going on, Will? It is here, football week 1, and I did not think I would be able to say this year, but the Patriots are undefeated. We are 1-0.
They said it couldn't be done.
They said it couldn't be done. 8-point underdog.
Anything is
going
possible.
Into their place and taking it from them.
I have opinions about the Patriots. There was a strong opinion going into last week. There was no hope. There was just a miserable amount of jokes just tossed back and forth between us throughout this entire game, being like, well, we can't actually take this seriously. Like, I had the joke of, like, just 3 points at a time. Just inch by inch here. Like, we scored. We didn't always do that last year. We had a touchdown. It didn't always do that last year. And it was kind of a messy game going into it with all the drama on the other team's side with the Ja'Marr Chase controversy. And then it depends. It goes even farther than just a contract dispute. It turns out he actually had an illness. And then Higgins ends up being out. And here we are. The Patriots are undefeated. I don't know if we're going to be able to cheer this a whole lot, but let's act like winners for a little bit here.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was there was a point in the day when the Dolphins and the Bills were down double digits, and the Patriots were winning, and then the Jets have the 49ers tonight. Miami and Buffalo end up coming back and winning, but I think there is a shot that after week 1, the Patriots are going to be first in the division. Again, something I did not think I'd be even considering. We saw the preseason and it looked so rough, and coming into the day, it's in the past it's like, okay, Patriots on one screen, red zone on the other one, and it just was like, are you gonna have the Patriots game on? Like, I just don't.
I didn't have
deal
it
with
on.
this, and then we jumped on them. It scored the first touchdown, and we were joking back and forth saying, well, we got a lead. We might not have a lead at any other point in the season. Like, let's just enjoy having a lead. And no, we won. There was a Gatorade bath for Gerard Mayo. That might have been our Super Bowl right there.
A lot of new things. Gatorade bath on week 1. That's new. We had a new kickoff thing. We finally got to see a lot of that. I got to see every single game, every single score. We got to see how that played out. I have some opinions about it, but that wasn't the only new thing. We've got football on Fridays. We've got another Peacock exclusive. We've got Tom Brady commentating, all sorts of new stuff. What do you want to start with first? What was the new thing that excited you the most?
I think the kickoff is definitely the biggest thing. We'd seen it in the preseason. It's still taken a little while to get used to. It doesn't seem like it's really impacted things. I don't think that there's been more kick returns. I suppose it's for safety, and I don't know if there's any numbers to say, oh yeah, less guys got hurt in this week 1 compared to past years. But it's still just bizarre. So it's going to take some time to get used to.
The rules are a little getting used to. The lineup is absolutely a huge getting used to. It's like, I don't know what's going on. And then we still haven't seen the requested onside kick where you have to tell the other team that you were doing an onside kick so that they can line up properly the way they used to do onside kicks. I haven't seen that yet. I'll be curious to see how that plays out. But I overall have been all right with this. I did see some guys screw this up. Some teams are still not as comfortable with it. There's the ball has to either be caught or hit the ground before anybody can make contact or something or move. We're going to get more rules day by day here. But, we saw somebody running back. I saw somebody not catch it, and it muffed the punt like all the way back, and the other team recovered it. So I think we're still seeing highlights out of all this, and if the injuries are lower, I guess I really don't have that big of a deal. But it just looks different at the start of the game. I don't know if I'm going to outgrow that almost immediately here, but I think I can grow into Friday on football. At least if we're going to get games like that out of the new stuff, I guess I like that. I still have mixed feelings on making a Peacock exclusive, but I didn't hear nearly the amount of rumblings or grumblings about anyone really having a beef with any of this. This was thrown at us last year. Amazon Prime thrown at it the years before. We're just accepting this now, or am I just not hearing the complaints?
Was it Peacock exclusive, or was it Peacock and NBC?
I think Friday was exclusive.
It was exclusive?
Or no, was
I think
Friday on
people are
Prime?
just getting...
I don't know. I'm already lost on all of them.
Yeah, I think it's not a surprise anymore, and so the grumblings. It's like we've been doing this for a while, and it's a football, a playoff game. It's other sports, so I think everyone has just figured it out and said, "All right, I'm going to have to sign up for Peacock as one of the streaming services during football season."
I guess it just felt like a couple extra barriers to entry, where it's not only that you got to look and see that there's a game on a Friday, but then you got to look to see what app it's on. And I just it seems
Do you have the service?
it seems a little bit more than it should be, especially for the kickoff of the first week here. Do we really need exclusives in the first week? I think we should try to be offering this to as many people as possible. If you want to have football on Friday, fine. You want to make it exclusive? I don't see the advantage to all that. Like, let's not do it then. Or if we're going to do it later in the year with a little bit more of a premier matchup. Now, we got lucky. We did get a pretty good matchup over here, and this was a foreign international game. We'll get into some of the details of all that, but the field condition was very, very suspect, and I know both teams
have we still not figured this out?
all right. Maybe I have this wrong, but to my understanding, they like the grass. They don't like the turf. Don't ask me the complete difference of it all, because I don't really have the explanation of it. But to my understanding, all the soccer teams, all the big time soccer teams, play on grass. They don't mess with turf at all. So I would have assumed that playing it at a soccer stadium, if anything, would have been better field conditions that they don't always get at every single NFL stadium. But I saw guys switching in and out of cleats all game, slipping all over the place, causing all sorts of problems. Guys doing like hook routes for trying to catch the ball, and they're slipping and falling, and the ball's just getting thrown out to nobody. That happened a whole bunch. Is this an international problem, or is this like why are not all the fields just a standard? Really, like why have we not reached that point? Like, it's just every field's like this. Like, should they be different?
It seems like there's got to be some sort of rule book that says, here are the stipulations, but I think maybe it has to be more detailed, or because I agree with you that, well, I guess part of it would be if you have a dome, you can't have grass because there's no sun, so it can't grow. But there should be, especially when you're doing international. I just don't know how we haven't figured out. Okay, it has to be up to the standard. It's the Washington team always seems to have trouble with the field just having terrible quality, and it seems so important. It's like when the basketball court. It's hardwood. You don't have dead spots. It's all smooth and flat. It's not slippery. It seems like for football, we're allowing this to happen, and it just there's so much money. Like, money seems to fix this, and I don't know why. As an owner and as a league, you're worried about safety. Why would you not want to give your millionaire athletes like the best playing surface?
You want to attract free agents? Hey, guess what? I got the best field in the league. You're never going to fall on mine. All right, Jerry Jones, why are you not saying stuff like that? That sounds great, because when you go somewhere and when you see the guys falling, it's just a different sport. It looks like high school out there. It's like, wait a minute, what's wrong? How come everybody's on their knees the whole time? Nobody can do anything. They're just slowing down. We have everybody, the fastest athletes in the world, doing all this, and they're just not able to perform the same way. I don't know where it goes.
And then JJ Watt commented saying, hey, you're playing internationally. Yes, it's a field, with the right dimensions, but this was made for soccer. And, soccer and football are very different on how the surface is used. So, yeah, I think that it's got to get taken care of. And I think you're right that use it as a free agency selling tool of, hey, we have the safest field. You could really just use that as a selling point.
Well, other new stuff. Tom Brady was back. It's the first time ever I think I've seen a walk-in entrance for an announcer. Are we going to see that every week, where it's like, hey, Tom Brady came to play today, but he's playing in the booth? Is that every week? Like, how many times are we going to do this?
I don't think so. I got to imagine that's just the first week.
I know. I think it's every week. I think we're going to hype this up so much.
I suppose if you're paying a guy that much money, you want to make sure that the audience knows, hey, we have Tom Brady. That's who you're listening to right now.
I didn't hear enough of it. I was watching Red Zone all day, so like I don't want to make a judgment, but of my initial response to it, I thought it sounded like it was his first time ever doing it, and it was. So maybe he'll get better from here. He's certainly a guy that'll persevere through just about anything. I don't think this will be something he can't figure out, but on day one, not the best day one, and just a very brief opinion of it. But I'm sure we'll change on that. I think if you get a better game, you can get better opportunities to be better at this, and you didn't really have the greatest of games at all. So I think that makes it even harder. But any initial thoughts on Brady, or is it kind of too soon to judge?
I think it's too soon. It takes a while to get comfortable. Just because you're, the greatest football player doesn't mean you're the best at talking about it. And it seems easy. Almost like stand-up. Joe Rogan always talks about how you're just talking, like you're just putting words in an order, but there's still a skill to it. It still takes practice, and I think that he's going to get the reps in. And I also agree that the type of game also is a huge influencer. So I think I don't think you should fire him. I think you still get your money's worth, and interested to see how he does on a week-to-week basis.
I would assume the preparation's kind of similar, where it's like you do prepare for a whole bunch of stuff, but there's a good chance you're not going to use any of that at any point, and then it's going to happen. You're not going to be prepared for anything. You don't know. NFL script writing was good this week, but it's not like you get it before the game happens. It's certainly a limitation of all that. All right, anything else you wanted to talk about before we get into the picks here?
The Tyreek Hill getting arrested before the game, just going into work, and I had heard, I read that he was detained, and so okay, that's interesting. And then the videos come out where he's handcuffed, face down on the pavement, and it just was. It was unexpected. Glad that it seems like everything's all right. He scored an 80-yard touchdown, does the handcuff celebration, so it seems like he's having fun with it. But just interactions with the police, just not the best. So I was surprised by the video.
It just seems impossible that both sides would let that escalate to what it got to. In the background of the video, you can see he's one block away. You can see the stadium. You can see where it just doesn't add up to me. I'm not saying there wasn't a wrongdoing by both sides here. It just is a bad look. You got four guys standing over one guy, handcuffed face down with the stadium in the background. It's just not a normal morning for an NFL player, and I'm sure we'll hear more details coming from this. But it wasn't like they were around some dark back alley where nobody could see anything. It's like in public with everybody coming in trying to park and tailgate at the same stadium. It doesn't make sense to me that it would escalate that quickly and that bad in such a terrible area. Bad look. Hopefully that's the last time something like this happens prior to a game and a home game too. I mean, no home love, no nothing here. Right. He does nothing for you. I don't know. That's frustrating. Almost as frustrating as my week 1 picks. I don't have the scoreboard in front of me. I don't really need it. If you want to just let everyone know that you got some picks right, I only got some picks right, and even that's being very generous.
I got lots of picks right, and you did not get lots of picks right. That's what it is.
Halfway through the day,
I jumped out to a commanding lead.
Well, no pressure. All right, no pressure at all. You'll be fine.
Commanding lead.
You won't screw this up at all. There was plenty of teams with commanding leads all game. Actually, a majority of my picks that I got wrong had a very good opportunity to win a lot of these games. It just changed to the second half, changed to the closing half. I don't know what to say. It's just a bad luck and an unpredictable game. I have no idea if I'm going to do any better this week, but we're going to give it a shot. Yeah, I don't know. Any recommendation of what I should change? Should I let you pick first and then just copy it? Is that the right move?
Oh, well, then you'll never get ahead of me. That's not going to work.
I guess so. All right, this is a flawed system here. But we do turn around quick here on this week. We have a Thursday game. We have the Buffalo Bills at the Miami Dolphins. Exciting game for Josh Allen. He had 2 throwing touchdowns, 2 rushing touchdowns. Just a machine of a comeback on week 1. Against the Arizona Cardinals. They take care of business 34-28. It wasn't the smoothest start, and Arizona certainly looked like the team that was in control of this game. Josh Allen's that guy, though. I looked at all these other teams, I watched all these other football games. There's not a lot of guys that can do what he did, and that's the difference maker. I think that difference maker will continue this week, even on the road in the short week for Miami here. I'll take the Buffalo Bills on the road. Who you going with?
I will be going the other way. We did get news right before the podcast that Josh Allen had injured his non-throwing hand, but that he'll be good to play on Thursday. But the Dolphins also were down and were able to come storming back. So I will go with the Dolphins at home.
It was a tale of two halves for the Dolphins, basically getting their ass kicked for the entire first half and maybe even part of the third quarter, and then suddenly Jacksonville makes a mistake that every team in the world would regret almost instantly. When you fumble the ball into the end zone, it's just a matter of 2 plays later, and Tyreek Hill down the sideline for like 90-something yards and a touchdown, and the whole game swings around. I don't think that's going to happen to Buffalo. They're not going to fumble the ball in the end zone. They're an actual adult team that'll be responsible and be able to take care of all this. I didn't really like the pop in Miami. I mean, some of these guys made some incredible plays, but it just seems such a boom or bust that I'm going to trust Buffalo way more. Next game here. No Friday game here. We're going right to Sunday. Oh, good old Sunday, traditional Sunday here. We have the New Orleans Saints at the Dallas Cowboys. You could say both these teams are some of the most dominant teams in the league this past week. I don't trust any of them. It's like, how bad were the opponents? New Orleans taking care of business 47-10 against the Carolina Panthers, and Dallas just whooping on the Cleveland Browns 33-17. A very, very dominant week for both of them. I'll go with Dallas. I can't trust Carr at all, even if the offense looked awesome. I mean, I said Rashid was going to be a draft pick steal. He had a huge touchdown. I thought that was a big win for the podcast right there. But who are you going with this one? I got Dallas.
I am also going with Dallas. Saints just really putting up some points, and poor Bryce Young, first play throws an interception, and that game was just over. But I think that it had less to do with the Saints, and that the Panthers are just really bad. And I like what I saw out of Dallas. So yeah, I'm also going with Dallas.
It seemed almost too good to be true. It was like, wait a minute, maybe Dallas is all right. Maybe they don't need the running game, or maybe the line is just really good and they can literally plug in anybody.
They got the Dak contract signed hours before his game, so the going on there. So I don't know, maybe everyone's just a little more secure in the situation.
Yeah, how many more points was that worth? The Dak contract is that +3? I mean, they announced this all before as if it's like some momentum that they're going to start the game up 4-0. Like it's such a it's just a pathetic publicity stunt that's constantly never ending with Dallas. But I have no control over it. I just have to talk about it, I guess. Next game, Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Detroit Lions. Exciting game for Baker. I thought Evans might have had the best catch and the best touchdown of the week. Exciting game for Detroit, storming back, going into overtime. I thought the pace of the overtime game was a big separator. Just bully ball, David Montgomery, right down the middle, all the way down to overtime. They had no chance. The Rams looked exhausted. I was impressed by Detroit just going old school, basically. Saying, we're just going to hand the ball off and just get inch by inch out of all this. I kind of like the magic of Baker, but I don't think it's good enough to take on what Detroit had. Rough game for Amon-Ra St. Brown. You think we get back on track in week 2?
I think he's going to get back on track. He's too good to not.
I got Detroit. Who you going with?
Yeah, despite how good Baker Mayfield looked, I think Detroit is for real. I think they're building off of what they did last year, and that they're going to be they're going to win a lot of these games. So yeah, give me Detroit at home.
We're going to announce our gambling picks of the week later today, and they're not all posted yet. Otherwise, I would have taken an Evans anytime touchdown, but I don't have a number. I can't bet on it yet. It's not open. But I do like what they were doing. I thought Godwin looked good. This team, I mean, post Brady here, they kind of still had that same core, and we've seen it once before win a whole lot of games. I don't think this will be the week for it, though. Next game. Indianapolis Colts at the Green Bay Packers. The Richardson toss after a slip and fall that goes 60 yards for a touchdown. I get used to that. I can watch that Sunday. This is what we watch Red Zone for, to see a play like that. I thought it was electric. I thought Green Bay played good. They just have some bad luck, and I don't know if you want to blame it on the field conditions again, but that injury to Love is really going to impact this team, and I just don't have the confidence in the backup that this is going to go as smoothly. I don't like taking Indianapolis on the road here, but I just feel why would I pick the Packers? What running game and what offense am I trusting over there? I'll take the wild card and the Richardson bomb again on the road. Who are you going with?
I'm gonna go with the Packers. It sure initially seemed like Love it was not going to play. They're not putting him on the IR. But yeah, it doesn't look like he's going to play. It's probably going to be Malik Willis, which isn't the best for when you're looking to make your picks. But that Anthony Richardson pass looked off. He said slipping, just flipped through there over two guys. But he only completed 9 passes the whole day. So, he kind of gets overshadowed a little bit because of how awesome that one throw was. But I think he's still, coming off of the injury. There's still work to do. So I trust the Packers as a team more. So I'm going to go with them.
All right, let's just say he throws 9 again. You think Willis is going to have a better 9? You think he's going to have more than 9? Or you think Love injured is going to have more than 9? I just see so many scenarios where it might only take 9. Like this game doesn't need to be 2020. This could be
before
9
he got
to
hurt
6.
last year. He was using his legs, a whole bunch. So it's not for the Colts to win. I don't think he needs to be completing 25 passes, but I mean, not even double digits. Just a little bit of a red flag to just be aware of.
I think I like their running game more. If this just turns into everyone's just going to ground and pound and punt a whole bunch, I'll take the odds with them. All right, next game, New York Jets at the Tennessee Titans. The Jets had Monday Night Football tonight against the San Francisco 49ers. So not a lot of comment there. This is the challenging part of the podcast is where you have to talk about Will Levis, and there were some plays. There were some mistakes. There were some massive mistakes. There was possession to this game. It felt like they had a chance to win this game, but they don't get it done. I don't really see how they're going to get it done against an even better team in the Jets. I don't know what you do with Will Levis. It's too soon to give up on him, but this needs to start looking a little bit better, and this isn't a week that I think you're going to get it. I'll take the Jets on the road. Who you got?
I will also be going Jets sight unseen. Fingers crossed for Aaron Rodgers to make it through a whole game. But all the stuff that you said about Levis, I just don't really trust the Titans. I think Pollard looked all right, but I don't think they're gonna win a lot of games.
He doesn't look comfortable. I was hoping the second year of being like I'm not the rookie anymore, or even just seeing what other rookies would look like, that he would have that kind of scare look in his eyes, and he hasn't quite figured it out yet. Next game, San Francisco 49ers at the Minnesota Vikings. Niners will be playing the Jets tonight for Monday Night Football, so not a whole lot of comments there. McCaffrey's going to play. We're okay. It's fine. We're sure. How long do I got to stress this? It's Monday Night Football. There are no more backups anymore. It's either this or nothing.
I think he's going to play, right? I haven't heard anything about him not playing.
Why do I get the game time decision tag on everything, even though I was like, no, he's going to play?
Just to, keep you on your toes. Keep the week exciting. Stress you out.
Well, the team that they're going to be going against is Minnesota, and Minnesota had a good week. I mean, offense, that's the question mark. I mean, they put up some points. I don't know how bad the Giants actually are. They may be terrible. They may be the worst team in the league. But nonetheless, you still got to be able to put up points, and they were able to do that. So I will give them credit for that, but I don't think they're going to be able to do the same offensive approach against the San Francisco 49ers, so I will take the Niners on the road. Who you got?
I'm also going to go with the Niners on the road. If there's losers coming out of week 1, it is the Panthers, and this one right behind it would be the Giants. Daniel Jones, since he signed his big extension, has thrown more pick sixes than touchdowns. Oof. So that's bad. As well as since they paid Daniel Jones, it kind of made it so they couldn't re-sign Saquon Barkley, and they tried to lowball him. And now Saquon is at a division rival and putting up 3 touchdowns. So Yeah, I don't think that this was so much the Vikings being good. I think they're going to be an average team this year. I think that the Giants are bad, bad.
Hey, you still got to score. You still got to take the advantage. The other team sucks. It doesn't mean you play down to their level or anything. 28 points. That's something. That's not nothing. I wouldn't have said Darnold was going to put up 28 on anybody this year. That's woof. All right, next game. Seattle Seahawks at the New England Patriots. Let's go. No mistakes. Mr. Professional Brissett. We can take care of business here. They have a terrible O-line. They were so sloppy. They almost gave up almost 3 safeties in this game. I don't care if the score is going to be 16-10 all over again. I think we can win that game. I'm going to go with the New England Patriots. I think our defense alone and our special teams is enough just to win this on our own. If Gino is going to be anything like he was last week, it's not going to get the job done against this. We just can't let Brissett make any mistakes. No fumbles, no turnovers. Very, very similar to this past week. And we will win 16-10, something miserable, ugly game like that. But I'm back in on this. I'm out on Seattle. I like all the receivers. I like all of that. But, I mean, you give up almost 3 safeties in one game. How am I supposed to trust you into the next week? You're just vulnerable against everybody. Who you got?
Wow. One week, one upset, and you're just the whole train has been turned around for you, huh?
I just think if there was a team that they were going to be able to steal a win on, it would be a team that had a terrible O-line, that we can put pressure on, that our defense can control, that isn't going to be able to put up points on us, and that just seems like Seattle. Unless they're going to be a threatening offense, which is all the teams that scare the hell out of me as a Patriot fan, because we can't score like that. But I don't think this team can score like that, and if this is an ugly match, I think we got a shot at winning it. There's not going to be a lot of ugly games, though. There are going to be teams that are just going to score 70 points on us, and we're going to have no control over it. I don't think this is that team.
I think our defense is solid. I don't think anybody's going to put crazy points on us, but I think the offense is still going to be the issue. Yeah, I'm going with the Seahawks. I think that there was a lot of luck in the game where one of the Bengals touchdowns gets called back, then they fumbled right as like they were about to score, so come up with no points, and just that's that's a ball game right there. It was only a one score game, so and still frustrated. Like we got a penalty on the first play of the game. I don't think that we're as disciplined as we need to be, and I think we'll get to Cincinnati later, but maybe they're having big problems, but I think that there was a reason coming into this year that our over under was about 4, around there. So yeah, we're not going to be coming up with many more wins. So just enjoy the undefeated season for now.
I think you're wrong. I really do. I think there's, as long as we don't do the turnover thing, if Brissett doesn't have to take chances like he did this game, he didn't do anything crazy. There wasn't anything flashy, and it felt like Mac Jones at time where we just can't move the ball. But he didn't do the mistakes of trying to make it happen. And I think if we can do that again, we got a shot at winning this game. There aren't going to be many games, like you said, we got a chance at winning, but I'm just not threatened by a team that also can't score. I think we got a chance at winning those games. And there aren't going to be opportunities to pick for them a whole lot of the times this year. So I'm going with it. We're going to be 2-0. We're going to do 2 Gatorade baths. We're going to do it every week.
Every week.
It's not going to slow down, all right? We used to only do it for Super Bowls. Now we do it for every time we win, because we might only win like 3 times. Next game. New York Giants at the Washington Commanders. Underneath Giants, I just wrote no. Just like, no. Like, I'm sorry. There's nothing I could say that's going to make you feel any better. This is week 1 of too many games that you're going to have to suffer through. And you're going to go against a team like Washington that has got some rookie magic that you're just going to be dying to have and can't believe that you are tied to what you're tied to while this guy just dances all over you. I will take Washington at home. There's no way you're taking the Giants. Who you got in this one?
No, I don't think I'm going to be picking the Giants very often at all this year. The Commanders, they're still a work in progress. There's a reason they got a top quarterback. It's because they were bad last year, and it just it was one game, but Jaden looks pretty small out there, and it's similar to like the Will Levis. It's just you'd like to see, you would have liked it to go smoother, in the first game, but still plenty of time, not giving up hope. But I think this is a chance for them to really put the hurt on a bad team and get the first one of the year.
How long before we do an entire segment on ESPN about him not being able to slide and these little tumble rolls like a Ninja Turtle he keeps doing out there. It's so bizarre, and I don't know if it's an attempt to get a flag of like, oh, I'll make myself more vulnerable. They'll hit me in the head, and I'll get whatever more yards. It's like I don't know, but it doesn't look scheduled or planned or like he just looks like an old man that just hits the off switch and tumbles.
It's so in between. It's like he's running and he goes, I need a slide. I need a slide. He wants to go head first, but the coach has told him he's remembering, oh no, don't go head first. You got to go feet first. And yeah, like you said, just like a Ninja Turtle tumble.
He's so athletic, and he looks like the most unathletic player ever trying to slide, as if he's never gone to the floor voluntarily. Like he has to get knocked down to hit the ground. I don't know. I think the second he gets injured, though, we're gonna go look back at all this film and be like, this guy doesn't know how to slide. Like, of course he got hurt. How is he gonna run if he doesn't know how to slide?
Did they not do the slip and slide drill? I feel like you see that every year to teach the guys how to slide. Or you bring in the baseball coach or something, but it should be in the repertoire, and it should be able to be executed. Where right now, it's not. It is, yeah, tumble away.
I'll be honest. I would have thought if I saw a film of him tumbling the way he tumbled as a slide in college, I really would have mocked the draft position he was at. I was like, that's the guy. That's the athlete you want. This guy doesn't know how to slide. All right, yeah, this is gonna work out. He's super mobile. Doesn't know how to slide. No, nothing. No flaws here. All right, next game: Los Angeles Chargers at the Carolina Panthers. If you're the Chargers, we did it. All right, we became adults this week. We didn't blow the game. There was an opportunity there. The Raiders are a sneaky team that somehow always get the best of them. It didn't happen this week. All right, Harbaugh has corrected everything. We're not having any bad L's anymore. Losing to Carolina would be a bad L. No more bad losses. If you're Carolina, it's really rough to start off your entire season with your first pass being an interception, saying, no, last year was just a rookie year. We got through all the bumps, and boy, it was a rocky start for them. They got their ass kicked. 47-10 to New Orleans. I don't see how they're going to win this game. I just think the Chargers can run the ball and keep it easy, and Carolina will just continue to make more turnovers. I will take the Chargers on the road. Who you got?
I am also going to go with the Chargers on the road. I think Panthers and Giants, they're bad. I am feeling pretty confident. Harbaugh, he's got a different attitude, and it's going to be tough to overcome the Chargers chargering, but it was almost it wasn't quite the reverse, because they were up it was more than a one score game, but I was kind of disappointed in the Raiders, and you're down 2 scores, and then you're in you're on the other team's side of the field with like 8 minutes to go, and you punt. It's just it's kind of too late to be playing the field position battle, and I just kind of thought, the interim coach getting promoted, I thought he was a little more aggressive, and this just seemed like it's all you're playing not to lose by more rather than playing to try to win the game.
It didn't work. I don't know what to tell you. It didn't work. I wouldn't bet on it next week. That's also not the most solid or consistent team. So if you're the Chargers and you're sweating the Raiders, you're gonna be sweating a lot more teams going forward. All right, next game: Cleveland Browns at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Wow, Watson, that was terrible. I mean, truthfully, awful. Of the point where I think this is the year, this is the season where he's going to get benched. What is he going to have to do to avoid that? Because I don't see anything worth keeping him out there. I think the rest of his team is ready to roll, and he's the only one holding him back. Very, very frustrating. Almost as frustrating as the Jacksonville Jaguars, who in the first half dominate Miami, completely dominate, and then just blow it. The ETN fumble in the end zone was completely unlucky, but it just seems like things like that happen to Jacksonville, where they just put themselves in situations to just fall down and crumble. This is a really tough team, but, man, they can't close for shit. They just can't close. Stressful pick between these two. I'm going to go with the home team in Jacksonville. It doesn't really make a lot of sense to go with either team right now. If they could both lose, I'd pick them both to lose. Who you got in this one?
Yeah, I'm not going with the Browns.
No,
you're absolutely correct. The Deshaun Watson looks bad. You're saying, we were kind of talking about it before the season started, and you're already kind of leaning towards, I think you gotta bench him. I don't I I don't think you can bench him just yet because he you gave up 3 first round picks for him, and he makes so much money. Like it's gonna be so hard to be successful when so much of your money, and it's not just this year. He's under contract for this year and 2 more years after this. Like it's looking like a huge mistake.
Do you
And
think
I
they
don't
could
know
have
how
won
they're
this
how they're.
game with Jacoby Brissett?
Hmm. I was thinking with Baker Mayfield.
Well, that
They had Baker Mayfield, and
yeah.
they cut him and said no, we don't want you. And now Baker looks decent, and Deshaun Watson does not. And he seems to still be getting the benefit of the doubt. And it's just he was gone for the year, and it's just well he's just rusty, he's just this, and he's coming off the injury, he's just it's just shaking off the rust. It's like, well, at some point there's no more rust. The rust has been shaken off, and it's just revealing a not good quarterback.
If you're Jacksonville, are you buying into that first half team or that second half team? Like, what are we doing going forward here? Or is it always going to be a tale of two halves with this team, which is just no consistency?
Yeah, I'll give the Dolphins some of the credit. It's hard to cover Tyreek Hill and just momentary lapse, and he's behind you, and there's an 80-yard touchdown. So I I don't think that they're a phenomenal football team, but I think they'll be average. That sometimes they'll have that first half, and they'll be able to extend that to a full game, and other times it's going to be more like the second half, the whole game, and they're going to get blown out by 30.
All right, next game, Las Vegas Raiders at the Baltimore Ravens. I mean, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. And it's if you're the Ravens, it's just a game of inches, right? Just a game of
Oof.
inches, just a little toe on the line. What a fun
I was
introduction.
what a way to start the season. It was a fun game, and then the way it ends, and I just wish that his foot size was just a little bit smaller, so it would have been a touchdown, and then going for two, just right off, first game of the year. You don't see that very often, and I just love the idea of, hey, we're not going to try to go into overtime against Mahomes. We're going to make it so Mahomes doesn't even get a chance to get back on the field. And I would have loved to see what that 2 point conversion play would have been. And I just love the aggressiveness by the other Harbaugh.
We don't like to label moral victories here, but if you are Baltimore, I mean, you lost to the Chiefs. You had a really good chance in it. I think you did a lot of good things throughout the game, both to score and to slow down Kansas City. This is okay, right? Like they could have won this game. They came really close to almost winning this game.
I mean, Kansas City's a good team. You obviously want to win, but you went toe to toe and just didn't quite come up there. Pun intended. But I think that they need to get their act together, and they can still build off of it. I didn't love the comments when you lose, saying, well, if that's their best effort, we'll see them in the playoffs. It's like, oh, okay. They've won back-to-back Super Bowls. They're pretty good in the playoffs. So I didn't love the comments after the loss, but I think that they can easily recover and still be one of the best teams in the AFC.
I thought they had a hard time getting Henry going, but once he got a little bit of a rhythm at some moments of the game, and I could see it working. Lamar was great and terrible at the same time. I think he missed some passes. I think he definitely missed the guy in the end zone, but when you're on the run trying to anticipate a whole lot, I don't think that's the easiest toss to do anyways. It just looks like it when you see somebody wide open on the replay that was like, oh, no, that's the guy you want to hit. He's right there. Tough stuff, but I do like the threat of this team.
Do you think that the Isaiah Likely effort, do you think that's real, or do you think this is the week one? This is like the most picked up guy in every fantasy league, and everyone will be dropping him, in 3 weeks when he has a combined 10 fantasy points the rest of the month.
No, I think we're looking at kind of a Goddard Ertz situation out of a post Philly kind of era, where I think both these guys are gonna get a little bit of run between Mark Andrews and Likely. There's just no reason not to use them. They're easily their two best pass catching weapons. No offense to any of the wide receivers, but I just like what these guys are capable of doing, and I trust them a lot more. And I think Lamar's going to trust him a lot more, and I think it's an advantage they're going to have. I think having Likely and Andrews is going to be, I don't want to say, Hernandez and Gronk-esque, but I think these are a pretty good duo of guys, and it's their better options too of options that are throwing the ball. So I'm not worried about it. I think it'll be all right. I think this team's still really good. I think Lamar's still really good. I think just Kansas City is like the reason Charles Barkley never won a championship. It's like he went through Michael Jordan. It feels just
yeah.
It's like this team doesn't need to go back to the drawing board and be like, well, what do we need to do? It's like we just need a Patrick Mahomes. It's like, yeah, well, that's every other team. We'd all be a lot better with something like that. I wouldn't panic for them. I think they'll be just fine. All right, next.
Are you nervous if you are a Mark Andrews fantasy owner that Isaiah Likely went off? Same position. Isaiah Likely gets the touchdown. Has 12 targets where Mark Andrews was, lined up more like a lineman, only 2 targets. Mark Andrews, he was definitely someone that not like a first round pick, but he was definitely you had to pay a premium to get him.
I would be a little worried about the premium. I only got him in one league. I think I got him in the 5th round. It's a little pricey for a tight end, especially for the attempts I got this past week. But imagine a scenario where now Likely is getting a little bit more attention and he's getting less attention, and he's able to do a little bit more with that. This could all just play out into a long-term game where he just gets more targets with less coverage on him, and maybe that's the sneaky advantage.
I had not taken a victory lap quite yet, but maybe I'm just starting to dust off my victory lap attire on Travis Kelce, who no touchdowns, only 4 targets, only three receptions. So I think it was about in PPR five fantasy points, and I had said before the season that was one of my fantasy nuggets. I said stay away.
Yeah, who did I stay? I stay away from. What did I say? Drake London and Kyle Pitts. I don't know if that went super well. Although Cousins did not look well. We'll get to that. All right, did we already do that? We both got the Ravens, right? Is that what we did?
Yep. I have the Ravens.
All right, next game: the Los Angeles Rams at the Arizona Cardinals. What what are you gonna do if you're Kyler Murray? And if you're the Rams too? Both these teams I thought played really well. This was an exciting games that they had a chance at winning, and just weren't able to close out. I liked the threat of what Kyler was doing. He had a little extra skip to his step. The Rams, for as much as I like all the offensive players on their team, I didn't love the offense. Kupp kind of caught fire there a little bit in the second half, but outside of that, I thought it was an underwhelming game out of Kyren Williams, an underwhelming game out of the quarterback play, and I don't know. The Puka injury really looks like it slowed everyone down. And I'm a little worried about all that. You said you're not touching the Arizona stock, but I kind of feel tempted at home to go for it this week. I'm taking Arizona at home. I
can't do it.
You can't do it.
I liked what I saw out of the team. I thought they were going to get destroyed by Buffalo, and then they get up a couple of scores on them, and they don't hold on to it. But I thought Kyler looked pretty good. I liked what I saw from James Conner. But I think I'm leaning towards the Cardinals, but I know I'm gonna feel like an idiot next week, and it was like, why'd you pick the Cardinals? What'd you think was gonna happen? So I gotta stick with the Rams. They lose last night, right? In overtime. So it's basically a 50-50 game, and I think if they had been the ones to win in overtime, then you're looking at it going, hey, this 1-0 team, why would I pick the Cardinals? What is your level of concern with Marvin Harrison Jr.?
0.
No concern.
Not even a little bit. Nope.
Okay.
This guy's too good to. Anyone would have drafted him where they drafted him, and it ends up being not the greatest usage of a year, or a year where he just hasn't built chemistry up with Murray yet either. That it might be a little bit of that, and they're gonna find a way to get him involved. I don't know if it'll be the primary thing every week, and if you drafted him, it's gonna be like 4 weeks before you can confidently start him. I think it's gonna be rough, and all the experts are gonna tell you to do it for the next 4 weeks, but I don't think you're gonna feel good about it until a couple weeks in. He looked like a rookie out there.
Yeah, I didn't get him in any of the leagues, but he was going like second or third round, and just if you paid that, you're thinking he's going to be able to come around, but if it takes too much longer, you're not going to have a season to come around as a fantasy owner.
I thought the Bills looked better than Detroit did, so I just gave the Cardinals a little bit more credit for being in that game than the Rams being in the Detroit game. I
Okay.
just thought they looked a little bit better quality of football yesterday. The Rams Detroit game, neither of those teams are going to enjoy watching the film for either of them. There's going to be some rough moments to those games. All right, next game, Pittsburgh Steelers at the Denver Broncos. The kicking Steelers. What a kicking show. This is a whole soccer game here. We got 18 points, all field goals, some as far as 57 yards, just putting up points. Their kicker is available in almost every fantasy league and only started in 3% this week. What a stud. Is this who you're running to your waiver wire to go get? Is it rearrange the whole team? We need a new kicker.
I will not be running to the waiver wire for that, despite six field goals. That's quite a day. When you get your kicker to lead your team, it's always a nice little perk. But we have the surprise Russell Wilson out right before the game, so it was announced I don't know a month ago that Fields would be the backup and Russell Wilson would be the starter, and then right beforehand it gets switched, and then just weird situation of Russell Wilson's out because he's hurt, but also is on the sideline in uniform because he was the emergency QB. So it just, well, wait a minute, is he hurt or what's happening here? So I think it doesn't really matter because the Broncos on the other side have Bo Nix, so another rookie and another rough rookie debut.
I didn't love what I saw out of Bo Nix. I didn't love what I saw out of Denver. The Pittsburgh kicker might have a huge busy day again this week, and it's the only reason I say you should run to the waiver wire and get him. Is he's going to have another 6 field goal game where this is going to be like an 18-10 game. I don't see Nix being able to keep up with anything here, and Pittsburgh, whether it's Fields or Russell, I think is just got a little bit more firepower that I'm just not ready to give to Denver at all. I got Pittsburgh.
It's more concerning how bad the Falcons looked. You bring in Kirk, you have all these weapons from before, and it's just okay. Well, now new coach, new quarterback, we're gonna be able to take advantage of it, and and this is what you do against the Justin Fields Steelers.
The Russ Fields thing wasn't even the weirdest thing that happened in this game. There was a miscommunication with the sideline guy. One of them had it as 4th and 1, and one of them had it as 1st and 10. So the Steelers ran a 4th and 1 play thinking it's 4th and 1, and they ran the ball and they lost a yard. And then it comes out after that it was like, oh, no, that was 1st down. You guys just ran your 1st down play, and now it's 2nd down and 11. And Tomlin lost his mind on the sideline, and I understand why, but I guess on the flip side of things, would you rather it be a turnover on downs, or would you rather it be 2nd and 11? So then you quiet down. But I'd never seen anything like that happen. I suppose it's a first week for everybody, right? We're just getting used to things here, but I can't recall an error like that where we got as far as a play and a ref didn't run out whistling whoa, wait, hold on, we got to rearrange all this. But can you recall another moment like that?
No, they maybe because usually the referees are involved in real quick of all right, it's 1st down, or we pause the game to measure it. So yeah, I can't think of a time where there's that type of confusion.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's better to turn over on downs, I suppose, but it is just, are we not professionals here? All right, what are we doing? Next game, the Cincinnati Bengals at the Kansas City Chiefs. This was a messy game for Cincinnati. They didn't beat the New England Patriots. That's not going to be said a whole lot this year, and I don't know what to give them. They have no threat. And on the flip side of that, Mahomes looked so comfortable. This team looked fast. They looked like they're rebuilt. I know you're down on Kelsey. That's not really the problem anymore. They got speed out of everywhere else. I'm in on Kansas City. I think this is an obvious win. You can lock this one in. I just don't think Cincinnati is remotely the same threat as they were a couple of years ago or even last year. They're going to get blown out in this game. Who you got?
I'm going with the Chiefs. I think a week of practice for Jamar Chase, I think will help the Bengals. But yeah, I'm in agreement. The Chiefs with these receivers, Kelsey's not unquestioned number one tight end in fantasy, like he has been in past years, but he's still like it's not like he's terrible and unplayable. He still is a weapon, and I think he'll have better games. So yeah, it's going to be a rough start for the Bengals going 0-2.
It is really impressive of just how much a step up Mahomes is on everyone. Like him and Lamar had a great game in the opening game. We talked about it like previously ago, but the comfort level of Mahomes in the pocket and the game plan, he just seems to know every step ahead of everybody. It's unbelievable how comfortable he is. Dude, he's behind the back pass bullshit stuff, and I don't know. I guess I'm just in awe. Is really all I'm saying here. I mean, we get to watch a lot more games of Patrick Mahomes, and it's fun. And he's a special guy out there.
Yeah, this should be a good game. If we were previewing this a week ago before the Bengals lost, it's just like, oh, cool, we're getting primetime Chiefs versus the Ravens, and then the next week Chiefs versus the Bengals. So if they come out and really put a beatdown on the Bengals, it's like these would have been the three top teams in the AFC, and then all of a sudden one of them is going to be 0-2.
Yeah, not looking good for Cincinnati. I mean, they're not going to win this game. They're going to start out 0-2 again. This is just like last year all over again. They put themselves in a hole. Their injuries either get recovered or they get even worse, and then their season's either over or they're just holding on by a thread for weeks. Next game, Chicago Bears at the Houston Texans. The rookie debut, it came and it went. I don't know how they won that game. I really don't. Is Tennessee just that bad? Is Will Levis just not that good? I don't know what to say. I was not very impressed with Chicago. I don't have a whole lot of confidence in them going into this week. I liked what Houston did. I thought Joe Mixon was one of the best players of this whole week, both fantasy-wise and in real football-wise. Very, very impressed with the Houston Texans. I thought Diggs got right on track. They still got Nico Collins, Tank Dell doing some noise. I like what the Texans are doing. I don't see how the Bears are going to be able to score with this team, and I think that he's going to try, and this is going to be the week where he throws like 4 interceptions just trying to keep up with this team. I will take Houston at home. Who you got?
I'm also going to be taking Houston at home. The Bears, it was much more on their special teams, their defense than their offense to get that win. Definitely rough, up at the top from those draft from the drafting of QBs last year, where you're watching Red Zone and Bryce Young immediately throws a pick on the first play like we talked about, and then I'm seeing C.J. Stroud for the Texans just look absolutely electric throwing touchdown passes, and just drafted right next to each other. But boy, the team's going different directions. But I like what I see out of Stroud, and I think it's going to continue.
Yeah, what do we got about Joe Mixon here? He looked real spry. He was bulldozing guys. He was cutting all over the place. I think I doubt this guy every year, and every year in fantasy he drops even farther down, and I'm like, how is this guy still going? This was a great opening week. I thought he looked great. What are your thoughts on that?
30 carries is so many too.
In an offense where I think everyone thought they'd throw the ball and that he was just going to be a vulture at the goal line, I thought he was a key part to the offense here. If you got him on your team, which I didn't give him an any, you got some good value. I think this is going to be a team that's going to be scored, and he's going to be a big part of it. All right, last game, and it's a doozy. The Atlanta Falcons at the Philadelphia Eagles. I just wrote, underneath Atlanta. They couldn't take care of Pittsburgh. They lost to the kicker alone. They didn't even score a touchdown. This is the Kirk Cousins injury blame. Is this the he's really not that good blame? Is this what is the excuse if you're Atlanta now? Do we not have good enough receivers? Do we not have the right coach? Is it the system? What's the excuse today? Because it just seems like they set themselves up where they shouldn't have any excuses, and yet it never works out. It feels like this team, despite making a lot of good moves or moves I think everyone agrees with, doesn't seem to go in the right direction. What's the excuse this time?
Kirk didn't look that good. Maybe we can blame it on on the rust if we want to, but with those guys, like you're able to name off like all the fantasy dudes. It's like I know all these guys. They're supposed to be good. They were highly ranked coming out of college, but like the pieces are just like not fitting together right, and only scoring 10 points. It's ugly.
Wasn't great. I don't know what changes. I don't think it's going to change this week. Philly's going to play a lot better being at home on a real field, or not
On a football field.
in America. I think it'll be
Yeah.
a little bit more efficient. They got Saquon going. Man, Saquon.
Oh boy, he looked so good.
Saquon looked good. I liked what I saw out of that. I don't think anything that Atlanta can do to slow that down. And AJ Brown will get better. I didn't think Hurts had the greatest game either. Definitely a slow, sloppy start for him, but they still got the job done. Saquon's going to be
They're going to put
Saquon.
up points. They're a good football team.
Atlanta's going to get smoked in this game. I got Atlanta, not Atlanta. I got Philly at home by a whole bunch. Who you got this?
Yeah, I'm going with the Eagles.
All right, those are our picks. What do we got? One more. What do we got? Nate in the group. That's it. Just me, you, and Nate.
Yep.
Well, we'll see how it goes. Nate is also dominating, similar to you. I hope this week turns around. We need this segment to carry a lot more weeks. I was very disappointed in my week 1. I also thought, though, there was just as good a chance that I could have been up and you could have been down. We swapped on a couple of them. Too many wild card picks, but I just want to have fun. All right, I got to be able to talk about the exciting stuff too. It is time for our weekly gambling picks, our gambling pick of the week. Let's do a little update on how we did last week. I believe I had Mark Andrews' first touchdown, and you had I don't remember. What did you have? You hit that, right?
Patriots Bengals under 40.5.
Under 40.5. What an exciting thing to be rooting for. Don't score. Everybody slow down. Let's do more commercial breaks.
Hey, this isn't about excitement. Your fantasy team's for excitement. This is for making people money.
I really felt like I had a good chance with the Andrews thing going in, and then when it was like all likely the whole game, it was like I can't even think why you thought he was going to be the main target going in. So I do feel a little silly for that. I like yours. It's a slow grind, right? We're money up, right? It's positive. And I like that you gambled on the Patriots. My bet this week is going to stick with the Patriots, and I'm just going to take the Patriots money line plus 158. I think we're going to win this game. I don't want to bet points. I don't want to say we're only going to lose by 3 or whatever it ends up being. I just think we're going to straight up win this game, and that you can make some money on that. What's your bet of the week? And are you all in on this? Are you going to put $1 on mine?
Yeah, I like that. It's more fun to root for your team than to root against them. But I am actually going to go very similar to what I did last week, and I will be taking the Colts and Packers under 40.5. I think it doesn't matter who's going to be at QB for the Packers, and I think again people are distracted by that one Anthony Richardson pass, and the larger work wasn't really that good, and so I don't feel there's going to be a lot of scoring in that game. So that's Colts Packers under 40.5 minus 105.
Sounds like a winner. I'll be honest. I like that. It sounds a little bit better, but I'm taking advantage of the Patriots momentum that I'm not going to be able to do later in the year. Later in the year, it's going to be like Patriots lose. Just lock it in. Like I don't care what it is. How bad is it? Just give me something. The only other more exciting one I had Keon Coleman, rookie wide receiver, Buffalo, anytime touchdown, plus 235. Just think they're going to put up a little bit more points, a little bit more in the air this week. And I kind of like what he's doing. I think he's going to be like the next Barkley personality. That's on football field related, but I do like the guy. You got anything else? Any other wacky picks?
Nope. Just a nice little under. Not getting crazy.
All right, before we dive into college here, did you have any fantasy updates? Anything to recommend to anybody? What is the status of your team as of right now? We stressing or are we doing all right?
It's funny because just did the draft a week ago. I felt good coming out of all of my drafts, and then this week looks like everything's pretty well locked in. There's not really much. I don't think there's really any movement one way or the other in tonight's game. But looking like I'm going to be going 3-2 to start the year. So not atrocious, but also not exactly how you want to start.
I will be going 2-2. It isn't anything to be worried about. Only one of them was really just an atrocious. I had Goff and St. Brown. They just killed me. It just for what I invested into Brown to get like 2 points was not good. Not what you want out of your number one pick. But outside of that, 2-2 was fine. The other one I lost was much closer, and I should take care of the business in the other ones. A little nervous about McCaffrey tonight. Hoping for a big performance. Haven't seen it yet. Would love to see it. But we'll have an update on that next podcast.
You don't need to be worried. He is going to play, and it is just going to be the nice little cherry on top for your week. Is everybody else got to watch all of their guys play, and now your best guy in the league, is about to play tonight, and prime time, schedule's cleared. You're going to have a great time.
Well, the cherry on top for the podcast is that we get to talk college football right now, and your team played this week, right? Well, you're a Notre Dame fan, right? They play every week?
They sure did.
Week
They
3,
sure did.
Not 4, not 0. Right? Week 3, week 2,
Week 2.
week 2. They played Northern Illinois. My dad went there. I've heard of that school. It's not just out of the middle of nowhere of nothing. This is a team in my life. They're very attached. How did it go? Did you have success? I don't really follow college football.
It did not go well. Started off where Northern Illinois scored the first touchdown, so it's like, all right, well, not great. Notre Dame's coming in as a 20-plus point favorite, first home game, coming off a big win at Texas A&M. Everyone's looking at the schedule, saying, hey, they're going to be favored, in every game, and it looks to be in good shape, and there's no reason for them to lose. And I think that even the coach came out afterwards and said the team believed in the hype, and kind of thought, close game at the half, and just, with these colleges, like the talent level is usually, the top schools, it's just so much farther that you can have a close game, at the half, and then usually the better team, in the second half, can just like run away with it, and you kind of look back and go, why was that even close in the first half? But it did not get any better, and Northern Illinois was able to get a field goal in the waning minutes, and it kind of came down to then Notre Dame trying to attempt a 60-something yard field goal that, it's basically a Hail Mary at that point, and we weren't able to get it done. So can't lose anymore. Now that's, if this had been any year previously, you're not being in the top 4 with a loss to Northern Illinois at home. But with
Zach, I got to interrupt you. I got breaking news. Christian McCaffrey is out tonight.
Oh no! Oh no! After all the nice things I said,
I don't think I'm going to go 2-2 anymore. I don't have. In one of the leagues,
there's no one else to pick up.
I am locked in at my score right now, and that is what it is. I am up like 20 points, and he has what has he got? He's got Debo going. I'm up.
Oh no.
Yeah, no, I'm toast. Yeah, no, never a doubt. This is why you listen to your co-host. Oh my God,
I was trying to help you out, and I thought just a positive attitude, but oof, that is not good.
Yep, nope, not make a sub. Oh man, what a bummer. The only good news is in one of the leagues I have Jordan Mason, so I can at least plug in somebody. The problem is that the league that I have him in, I don't even need the points. I need the points in the other league. Oh, bummer. Well, sorry to interrupt all that college thing. I just thought I just checked it right now, looking at my scores, and yeah, McCaffrey is out. He is inactive for tonight's game against the Jets, and that's a big change. I still think Niners are going to take care of business tonight. Is this enough to shift to the Jets?
No, they still got so many weapons.
All right.
It's disappointing, though.
Sorry to interrupt. We're talking about Notre Dame and their struggles against a team that nobody's heard of. What else do you want to talk about in college football?
Just want to throw out Texas destroyed Michigan. That was one of my games of the week to watch. That was a noon start, and it was not much of a game. Happy for Texas fans, and Michigan, after coming off of last year's championship, kind of it was known that they weren't as good as they were last year, but to lose in this fashion has to be humbling. So for this week coming up, if you really liked the NFL playing Friday night, we have a big college game on Friday night that'll slide right into that same time slot, 8:00. Number 20 Arizona at number 14 Kansas State. So if you're looking for that itch, that Friday night football itch, it's there for you.
Friday night, too much football. I don't need to watch football every day. It's not what I'm looking forward to. There were some good college games this week, though. I will say some got my attention. Do we need to talk about Michigan and Texas? Is that groundbreaking loss. I mean, everyone's acting like they lost to the worst team in the country. It's like, well, you were both ranked. Somebody had to lose. And just because somebody lost, now that team's not good and the other one's really good. I don't get it. I know they didn't have the greatest performance in all this, but I wasn't really ready to reassess both these teams as if they don't belong anywhere. I think Michigan will just be fine. What are you worried about that?
I think it was just how dominant it was. It was supposed to be a closer game, and it just wasn't. Michigan even scored some at the end, and so I think, and being at home, you lose that badly at home. I think that's why. I think that you are correct. They could still make the 12-team playoff. What I was kind of mentioning to wrap up with the Notre Dame talk is it's kind of goofy, but it seems like if you're going to lose a game, you're better off losing it at the beginning of the year rather than towards the end of the year. And just there's like a recency bias, and it's everybody remembers the loss in November where no one remembers the losses from September.
All right, let's wrap up this show here. Thank you as always for everyone listening. Make sure you subscribe. Little Column A, Little Column A, Little Column B podcast. We're on Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, and wherever else you listen to your podcast. Make sure you follow Zach on his Twitter account, which is
WickedZman24.
Yeah. Anything else you want to add for the people out there? We got 2 minutes before we close out.
It's so much fun to have football back, and excited even with Christian McCaffrey being out. Excited for Monday Night Football to just kind of close out the first football week.
Yeah, I'm in a huge dilemma. I already looked to see if I could even pick up anybody. There's not only is there like a third string running back available, but I don't have anyone to drop because everyone's already played.
Everyone's already played.
Like,
yeah.
I can't even the bench guys. It's not like you can drop them. Their game's already registered. That's a bummer. Not the way you want to go out week one, especially thinking like, oh, I'll be just fine. I have McCaffrey going Monday, so whatever I got, it's gonna be plus that. Yeah, this is what I've been cursed by this McCaffrey thing. I feel like you've overproduced it. Like it's been over advertised. What you don't have McCaffrey in any of the leagues this year?
I do have McCaffrey, and I am looking at my team right now, and it is a league that doesn't have an IR spot, so there is nothing I can do. I was already projected to lose, but with McCaffrey, there's always a possibility. But now that is the nail in the coffin, unfortunately.
Yeah, me too. That's
fantasy.
Yeah, I'm pissed off now. I was happy with the show. I'm completely distracted now. Now I just want to go break things. This is one weekend of fantasy. Hopefully we get a good game tonight, right? Is that what we want? Just a good game?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I want a good game.
We both got San Francisco. What do we think for Rodgers? Over under 2 touchdowns?
Under.
Way
under. They'll give it to Brees. But I am excited to see him play.
Yeah, it'll be good. It'll be a good debut. Hopefully last more than a couple snaps. I think the momentum will build off of that. But that's it for us. We'll come back next week with our picks and hopefully McCaffrey next week. And thank you as always for listening.
Little column A, little column B.